People have asked me about the cash envelope system that I'm using in my Filofax, and I do want to do a whole page by page of my new Portland Grand, but I think if I add everything that I want to add, it's going to be a really longer than usual video. So I wanted to do something specifically about. I used regular postal envelopes, punched and put into the rings, and that worked for a few months. And as the amount of money grew, it got very bulky. I only had a Filofax with 23 millimeter rings, and when you get things in, when you start stacking things up, it's a little bit, it left me very little room for much else. The next thing I did is I went to Filofax zipper envelopes, and they were more sturdy, but I ran into the same issue, so I went to Staples and found these on clearance. I'm trying to do this with a light. Not sure you're going to be able to see them, but I got a bunch of these for 50 cents each. And my original thought was to punch this and keep it in my Filofax, but the design doesn't really lend itself to it because it's expandable. If the edges were sealed, not sealed, but if the edges weren't like this, I could have probably done it easy, but this didn't end up working in my Filofax, which is really fine because at a certain point, I didn't want to keep all of this in the Filofax. If I lost it, I was in a big hot mess. So I wrote a post yesterday about how this was working and how I had amassed hundreds of dollars pretty painlessly, actually, and I've been doing it since December. Now I pay my bills by a debit card, so I've had a few people say to me, well, it wouldn't work for them because they used a check or a debit card to pay, but what I've done here is just assure that when a large bill is due, I have the funds available. In some cases, I just put the money in my account and pay the bill. In other cases where it's local, like my post office box, I just drive the money on over. And I picked things that were fairly large for me anyway, and divided it by the months that I had to pay it. So like I really like Amazon Prime. I get free 2-day shipping, and it's $80 a year, and I put in $20 once a month, and I've got, well, I what I have is I counted it all up because I really didn't know how much it was, and I've saved $465 since December. Now that also includes maybe some found money that I wasn't expecting. My birthday was in March, and I got some money, and so whenever I had extra money, I put it towards these kind of things. So I've got my Amazon Prime, and when that is due, which I think is in August, I'll transfer the money into my account and make the payment. My P.O. box comes due in June every 6 months, and I've already got the amount of money that I need for the P.O. box. I take out also some money for doctor's appointments, co-pays, um, prescriptions and things like that. I don't use this all the time, but it's really good for me to have. There isn't anything specific that I save for, but not all prescriptions are covered. And actually, Ventura is on a medicine that I have to get at the regular pharmacy, and that's not covered at all. I have to pay full for him, so this comes in very handy. This is one that's more like, these grow till I use them, but they never get past a certain point. This grows just sort of indefinitely until I need it for something. And this is the Christmas money, and this one is also going to continue to grow. And I put in spare amounts. I do put in $20 every month, but if I have spare change or anything like that. And I don't think I've saved $465 in my entire life, much less in a couple months. So dealing with cash is very good for me. And in that vein, I did this, and I did post about this yesterday. I took 50 $1 bills and a zipper pouch. I put a sticker on it that said, "Do it now." And this is to encourage me to do all the household kind of things that I put off. Like, I may do the laundry, I may not put it away, I may load the dishwasher and run it, but may not put the dishes away. This sort of encourages me to do the things that I just procrastinate about on a daily basis. And so every time I think about doing it and remember to do it, I move $1 over into here. And it's my spend it later envelope. And that's working out really, really well also. I don't do it every time that I remind myself to do something, but I do it enough that over the weekend I wanted to get Starbucks, and I took it out of my spend it later envelope, and honestly it felt kind of special, more special than if I had just swiped my debit card. I also moved this to the very, very front of my Filofax, so every time I open my Filofax for anything, I remember that it's my intention to do things now, and there will be some monetary benefit involved in doing so. There is always a benefit to doing things now. If you keep 100 little tasks waiting for later, they really build up into something impossible for me. So this is a way to remind myself and reward myself for getting all those little tasks done. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll leave this short and do this page by page monstrosity later, maybe today. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to do it later today or not, but I'm going to try. And so I hope that answered all the questions I've gotten about the envelopes. There's a lot of information about envelope systems from people who are much better with money than I am, and it's very easy to just Google cash envelope system. But for me, something really loose works a little better. I tend to feel weighed down by systems. So thank you very much for watching, and I should be doing another video fairly soon. And okay, bye everybody.